Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Twin Peaks Season 2, Episode 8. It's called Drive with Dead Girl. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. It's really funny actually, because we watched Riverdale just a little bit earlier, so seeing Shelley in both shows at, vastly different ages is really weird. Especially since she was fighting with her husband on Riverdale this week, which just was very reminiscent.
Yeah, it was
very reminiscent of her and Leo. But so now here we are. Again, slightly late this week, as seems to keep happening. However, good news is that a lot of the CW shows are off for a few weeks after this week, so the chances of us actually hitting this first one midweek are actually starting to look kind of promising.
It's much higher, isn't it?
Yeah. But regardless, here we are. This is the first one of two this week, and it's episode 8. We obviously, I think Leland is probably the most intriguing stuff in this episode.
Oh, certainly.
We see him like playing golf. His wife, Sarah, she doesn't seem to know exactly what's happened. She obviously, I mean, we know she passed out before the actual murder.
Yeah.
But it seemed like she was aware that there was something wrong last episode, where it seems like, no, she's still distraught. She doesn't look exactly... I mean, she looks like someone who stayed home sick from work, rather than
Yeah, but she
else.
doesn't seem to realise there's anything that wrong.
Yeah, and Leland, Ray Wise was just doing some wonderful things this episode. His like happy, like go-lucky kind of attitude.
His laughing, crying.
Yeah, crying, but then it turns into an evil laugh because it's actually Bob, and we kept seeing that thing where it's Bob in the mirror. We had that repeatedly throughout the episode. And we see that he's got Maddie like stuffed in his golf bag. Really big golf bag, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Typically, I think of... Cause I think when you think of a golf bag, you think of the one that you usually see them carrying with the clubs hanging out of it at the top.
Yeah, clubs hanging out, sling it over your shoulder.
And yeah, usually there's a cap for it, but this was like
Yeah.
more of a big suitcase type of thing.
Yeah, it was like a big bag, wasn't it?
But of course, because they had to fit a body in it, so they had to go with something a bit more meaty. But no, a lot of great stuff, right down to the point where like he's driving reckless, and Cooper senses there's something wrong earlier when he sees him, and he goes out to say to him, "Look, if you think of anything that night with Ben, because obviously Ben's been arrested, and we'll get to Ben's plot,
Yeah.
but he like there's that moment where he's like, "Do you want to see the clubs?" And I'm like, "Wait, don't you have a body in that bag?"
Yeah, I was like, as well. I was like, is he doing that thing where you're so false confident with what you are that it's like, well, it won't matter.
It's interesting. I didn't read it that way. I mean, I can see it being that way, but I read it as he's so cocky. It's like he wants them to find out, and he's so cocky about it. It's like, and again, this is me thinking it's less actual Leland and more Bob.
Yeah.
Although after he actually gets the club out, it looks like he actually wants to hit Cooper, and Cooper just happens to be going because they hear about, because the one-armed man went missing, but then they found him, and he's like, but no, it's a very, very sort of good moment.
Yeah. I really thought it was like he was going to it. So if he actively draws attention to it and goes to it, it won't seem suspicious.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I don't know if he was really thinking about it that much, though.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I mean, once he had the club out and he looked like he was about to hit him, I was like, okay, this is probably just he wanted an excuse to get the club.
Yeah, I almost feel like he wanted to see and realise that it was him before he hit him, kind of thing. Like, he wants them to catch him and know that it was him before he does so, even though the sheriff's over there.
He kind of wants the glory.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, at the end of the episode, Cooper gets a call. Audrey comes in, of course, and there's a great, wonderful thing where, again, she's changed a lot from her experience, but he's still very much Cooper in that he's got his shirt off because he was going to bed. He was talking to Diane on the tape recorder, and he puts his shirt on kind of to answer the door, but he doesn't button it up. And when she comes in, and she's like, "Oh, is that where you got shot?" Because she sees the scar. And he's like, yeah, and he awkwardly starts buttoning up his shirt because he feels uncomfortable that he's presented like this to this supposedly high school girl. I say supposedly because they seem to have completely forgotten that any of these characters were meant to be in high school.
They have. It did make me laugh a little bit that he put on the shirt but didn't button it up. It was like, what's the point? Yeah. But I appreciated he picked up the gun this time.
Yeah,
he's learning.
Yeah, that was smart.
That's why it made me chuckle. It's like, right, he's clearly thinking this could be someone coming back to finish the job. Gun. No, wait, shirt first.
But here, But arguably, he maybe thinks it was Ben who shot him the last time.
Yeah, that's true.
And now maybe now there wouldn't be a threat. Obviously, he still thinks there is a chance. He doesn't quite feel it. He doesn't feel comfortable that it's because even when Audrey says, "Did he do it?" and he's like, "Oh, that's for the court to say." He's like, "Yeah, but do you think he did it?" And he just says, "That's not for me to say." He's not willing to actually flat out say that he has a feeling.
and well, we know he actively feels the other way because he told the sheriff to maybe we should let him go.
And the sheriff is like, "Look, this is still kind of mad." And I've went along with everything, all the crazy stuff, the dreams, the giants, the dwarfs, everything, Tibet, whole shebang. But we've got evidence here. We're charging Ben. We're charging him, and they do have some reasonable evidence.
They do
at this point, so that's fair. That's fair. Although now that there's another dead body turned up while he was in custody, maybe
it throws a wrench in that. But I really did like that scene where Cooper was like, "Okay, sure, yeah, you're right. I forget that you're the one that's this is your area. You know these people."
Yeah. Yeah, but back to the scene with Audrey though, I really liked that. So she's asking if like she was the reason why he's getting put away, and then afterwards she's determined to let Cooper know that there was no, like, when she was at One Eye Jack's and she was technically undercover as a prostitute, she never actually went through with a job, as it were. She never actually had sex with any of the Johns. And they have this great thing where he doesn't let her finish saying it. He's like, I know, you're like, and she's like, no, but I need you to know. And it's their relationship's actually very sweet. And we've said this before, but it's now particularly sweet. And this kind of vulnerability she now has, because she was so strong before, and she was so to a fault that got her into trouble because she didn't see the risks.
But then it went wrong, and now she's kind of almost broken in that sense. She doesn't really know who she is as much after that.
Yeah, she needs to build up her strength again. So I'm really curious to see how this develops. I know that this is probably the relationship that got vetoed because of course, I don't know if it was ever confirmed outright, but the whole thing where Lara Flynn Boyle, who was dating Kelly MacLachlan, didn't want this relationship to go forward. It seems to be this was the one that she's.
I can't imagine there was any other that it could have been.
Yeah, it's so weird though. I don't even feel like, oh, they shouldn't have done it because she's meant to be in high school. I'm like, at this point, I barely even remember.
I agree with that, but more so for me, I'm not sure I'd want them to be a romantic pairing because I kind of like this relationship that they do have.
Yeah, I can see. Although I see it happening eventually though, like even if it's off the show kind of thing, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as much as there's an age difference now that feels weird because she's meant to be in high school, in like 5 years, when he's like 34 and she's 24 or whatever, like at that point, like who gives a shit?
Yeah. It's not about the age thing. It's just the relationship they actually do have. I quite like.
Oh yeah,
and
I like it.
I'm not sure it needs to have this romantic element.
I think it will though. I think in the new season that'll be there.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think it'll develop to that, but I like what it is just now because it does have this innocent sweetness to it. Because he is such an upstanding guy who's like, no, I'm not crossing this line. I'm not breaking these rules. Which especially comes, it's more apparent in this show as well because Ben did cross that line. He was having a relationship with Laura, so did Leo and all that. But Ben's the recent one that really sticks out, is because he's like, he's in his 50s, pushing 60 maybe, and he's had this relationship with this high school girl.
Yeah, and it's the same with obviously like Jacoby. He wanted to as well. It's kind of been a running theme since the start of the show.
So Cooper's surrounded by these other people who are even older than he is, who have succumbed to this temptation, and he's like, no, I'm not crossing that line. And I think that's interesting. I think it's interesting from his character, and their relationship is definitely unique. It's the only scene we get in this episode with Audrey, but that's okay. So yeah, let's jump to Ben and Jerry, and there was some great hilarity to come from this as well, because Jerry comes in and he's like, right, I'm going to be a lawyer since your actual lawyer's also been tried for a murder. I'm going to represent you. And there's a wonderful flashback where, because he reminisces, oh, we had bunk beds in a room and there was this girl dancing, and there's this weird flashback where it's this girl with a
goes
with a
on for a lot longer than you'd expect as well.
Yeah, and she's all in silhouette and she's dancing, and you just see the light, the flashlight sort of moving around, and what I loved about it especially is that the kids who were meant to be Ben and Jerry, like the one who's meant to be Ben's in a suit and he's holding a cigar, which just perfect.
Just tops it off, doesn't it?
Perfect. But there was some hilarity there. See when they're actually in the interrogation room with Cooper and the sheriff, and they present Laura's diary, the secret diary. He's like, "Do you know what this is?" And Jerry just leans into Ben and goes, "A book, a book."
Yeah.
It's
It's just even Jerry being like, well, "You only have 24 hours," or is it 48 hours?
Do you know what the funniest thing about all this was? Is I didn't even think he actually had any lawyer qualifications. It was actually really amusing to me when Cooper brings up, "Oh, you actually did go to law school. You failed like multiple times, and you graduated the lowest of your class."
Lowest in his class of 142, failed the bar 3 times, had his license to practice law repealed in like 4 or 5 different states.
Yeah, but not this one.
Not this one, clearly.
So technically, he's still good to act as he's a lawyer. All that was supremely entertaining. Obviously, eventually they get the one-armed man to come in and basically sniff at him. This is right before the sheriff puts his foot down and says, "No, we're still charging him."
Yeah.
But the one-armed man's like, "No, this isn't."
He says he's been close, but he's not here now.
Which we know because he ran to Cooper and the sheriff. Just
Leland.
Yeah, Leland ran into Cooper and the sheriff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just before this, so we know this is where he's been. He's been close, and we're aware of all this. So it's really intriguing. Obviously, Ben's throwing a fit, but possibly even more entertaining than any of this is that Pete, who now knows Catherine's around, seemingly knows all about everything that happened as well. Knows about the affair.
Yeah, he's been caught up off screen.
He's been caught up off screen. He comes into the jail cell. And before he gets to the jail cell, actually, he does talk to the sheriff a little bit about Josie, and they realise she's been telling different stories depending on who she's been talking to. And so they've got a hint that there's something more going on, but something for later.
Yeah.
But he goes into the jail cell and he talks to Ben. He pulls out a tape recorder. And he plays a message from Catherine about how, "Yeah, I'm kind of your alibi for the night she get killed. Oh, this is a pickle. Maybe if you sign over to me, your I don't know if she specifically asked for the hotel, but she asked for everything else. She asked for the mill back, and
she definitely asked for the mill.
Yeah. I couldn't make out if she was saying, "Oh, I'll let you keep your precious hotel," or "If I want your precious hotel." I'll assume keep until I hear otherwise. But basically, she's blackmailing them. It's like, "I'm your alibi, and unless
I want what's mine, isn't it?"
Yeah, and unless you give me what I want, it looks like I just won't be around to give you your alibi. Kind of thing. It's perfect, and I think for me what was making the whole thing, obviously him throwing a fit was great, but it was Pete like maliciously with his little face, like he was just gleefully eating this up. Pete's been such a nice laid back old guy like the whole show. It was kind of just kind of invigorating just watching him
do something different.
Yeah, take pleasure in something like this. It's like he's finally got his wife back, like really.
Yeah.
Because they're working together as a team. I don't even think he cares what they're doing. He's just happy they're together and doing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh dear. But even though I said there was a lot of funny stuff in that, it's probably not the most entertaining in terms of amusement that the show got, because Lucy came back
finally
with her sister, who's very similar to her, and they had a baby with them. And obviously it's her sister's baby, because Lucy's not, even if Lucy did, she hasn't been pregnant long enough. Yeah. It's not been 9 months, which leads to probably one of the biggest, funniest moments in the episode is when Andy comes in halfway through the episode and Lucy's holding her sister's baby, or niece or nephew. I have no idea. I don't think they mentioned.
I don't think they did
what the baby's name was or what gender it was, but she's holding the baby, and she's just like, "Andy, what is it?" And he's like, "Lucy," and he obviously doesn't get it, despite the fact that she wasn't even showing before she left. He faints, and it's hilarious.
We know Andy's not all there in the head.
Yeah, which led to more funny stuff, because we had the three of them together afterwards when he's like, sort of, he's nursing his head and he's trying to explain, "Lucy, can I talk to you for a minute? I want to talk about my sperms." And her sister keeps butting in, and she keeps giving these wild opinions. "Yeah, we don't need more men and little sperm shooters," and she keeps talking, and eventually both of them tell her to shut up.
Actually, we do know that the baby's a boy, don't we?
Oh, do we?
Because she looks down.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And goes, "Oh, another sperm shooter."
That's right. You're right. Yeah, little sperm shooter. Yeah, because that's the dignified way to announce that it's a boy. He's got a sperm shooter. Oh dear. But so all of this was really funny though. All of it was really entertaining, especially when Andy's like, "Oh, the baby could be mine." And Lucy kind of knows that it's not. So
well, I think it still could be. I think now that Lucy's like, "Oh, Now I don't
Yeah,
know,
that's
but I
true.
have to tell him that it might not be his because Andy is convinced it's his
Yeah,
at
yeah.
at this point.
I think for them, I think we need a happy ending where it is his, and
It'd be nice, wouldn't
they
it?
decide to be happy because they're both not very bright. So let's have them together. Let's have
Yeah.
them be happy and not bright together. I feel sorry for the baby, admittedly, a little bit in that scenario.
Maybe it's better if the baby is the other guy's because
I
he
don't know.
seemed to have.
Yeah, but he's a dick as well, though. It's
He's
not
a
like
dick, but he didn't seem entirely stupid.
yeah, but I feel bad for her in that case though because he was treating her like shit.
Yeah, yeah. But like we said before, when this came up, Andy will step in and raise it anyway.
Yeah, that's true. He's a trooper.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's fine. But that was just all very entertaining. Other little bits. Here's a weird thing. So Norma's mother shows up and she's got a new husband, and okay, fine. And she's a little bit worried that he might be into gambling or whatever because she sees that thing in the newspaper. And then they'll go to dinner with her and Hank, nice double date
Hmm.
to catch up. And the ladies go to the bathroom, and Hank and Ernie, who's this guy, know each other from prison. He's lying. This is another connection that just
Yeah.
came out of nowhere.
Just because at this point in the show,
Yeah, so Ernie's an ex-con, and he claims that he's not doing her work. He's not trying to steal her money. He actually genuinely wants to marry her and be with her.
and we have no reason to doubt that
Yeah,
because
true.
this is Hanky sung to alone. He's got no reason to lie.
And Hank's full of shit. Hank's like trying to, because Hank's been missing for 2 days because he was with Jean Reno. Who knows what deal he's concocted
Yeah,
with him
exactly.
for his own life? But he's like trying to extort him. He doesn't come out and say it, but that's what he's getting at. He's like, oh, a good family's worth any money in the world, isn't it? It's like he's going to try and extort him to keep quiet about his origins. So yeah, that's a thing that happened. There you go. I just to go back to Leland for a minute. I forgot to mention the scene where Donna and James come round to look for Maddie, and
Yeah.
she's already he claims she's already gone, and it's a perfect alibi, or not alibi, but reason for her disappearance.
We knew she was leaving.
Yeah.
They knew she was leaving.
Yeah. So that all works. But I liked how sort of nice and friendly he was being with them. He's like, "Oh, write her. I'm sure she'd like that." It's like
Yeah.
it just felt especially sinister. Which leads us to the final scene, which was I kind of, even though it was kind of connected to other stuff, I veered away from it because I wanted to leave it to the
Just before we
conclusion.
get to this, the bit that leads into it, when we're back with Cooper and Audrey,
Yeah.
obviously he gets the phone call. I like that you can hear what it says. He goes, "Oh, that we found another body."
Yeah.
Like, you can just about make that out, and even if you kind of didn't piece about where it was going anyway, because it only made sense. It was nice to just have that there.
Yeah, and what I liked about the final scene is when they arrive, there was this great thing that it feels like a long, even though it's not even that long really. I think if you time it, it's not that much, but we get the entire walk from like shutting the car door to finding the body. Like it feels like a trip, and they're going through like some like foliage and bushes and stuff. And they go through it, and it just feels like this one continue. It does cut. It's not one shot. It does cut between from POV to them.
But it feels like real time.
Yeah, but it feels like a proper long walk, and the music's sort of like gearing up, and it's like it feels like the start of the show again, almost because
It is because it's the exact same, isn't it?
yeah, it's the same face and the same plastic, different hair, but the same thing.
Yeah.
And it feels like this big moment where oh shit, we're almost restarting essentially, and we're not really because we know who the killer is, and I'm sure this will give them a reason to go after someone other than Ben because oh shit. It
Yeah.
probably can't be him because he was in custody the entire time. Because they'll figure out time of death, and that was when they'd already picked him up. So
Yeah, and I feel like this is where they go to Leland because Maddie and James saw that he told them that oh hang on she's gone, that she left last night, and
Yeah,
he says he drove her there. No, left 20 minutes ago. He
Yeah.
drove her there himself.
yeah, you can see the dominoes falling. You can see the house of cards are about to crumble. You can see which pieces have been taken out, and now it's all going to tumble for Leland / Bob, Bobland, Lee Bob. That sounds good.
I preferred Bobland personally.
It's a Bobland. All right, okay. Can't win them all. But no, so that was that was all the stuff in this episode. I enjoyed the episode. I thought it was entertaining. I thought both the Jerry Ben stuff and the Lucy stuff was really funny, and then the actual case stuff, especially the Leland stuff, was super engrossing because like he was being crazy, great acting from Wise. I think the only thing for me that was maybe a sort of wrinkle in the episode was the Ernie prison stuff. Not because there was anything about it that was bad. It just A, felt kind of random, and B, it feels like, oh, here's a plot we can do once the other stuff's done.
It kind of felt like, why this episode? Why are we seeing this
Yeah.
now? It doesn't seem to connect in any sort of way.
I think it's just here because it's a plot we're going to be doing in the off part of the season. Because we know we're coming up to this section that everyone agrees is kind of the weak section of the season because Lynch wasn't around, the mystery was kind of wrapped up. We know we're getting to that point. It feels like this is them setting up another plot line for that portion.
And that's okay to have those plots. It's just, why not wait another couple of episodes and then set it up after the mystery? There's no reason for it to be set up before this resolves, I don't think.
See, I don't know if I agree with that. Because I feel like it feels like, oh, we've started and stopped and there's all these new things conveniently starting now. To me, it makes more sense to weave it in. The only problem I have with it is because I know it's going to go downhill. I'm sort of looking at these new plots and going, all right, these are the bad plots that are going to take us through that
Here's where
section.
I disagree. We've already had a few been weaving in, like, like the Jocelyn stuff. So they've set up multiple ones anyway.
But we're not talking about them. We're talking about this one.
No. But we're so in the middle of now we know the killer, and this is kind of what most of the show's focused on. So this one, it feels like just save it another couple of episodes and introduce that one a little bit later, rather than have them all ready.
But I just mean, like, it would feel really weird if we ended like, what felt like the plot up till now, and then all these new threads just all started.
If they did all just start, yeah, I would agree. But given that we've had others set up, this one felt like it could have just waited another couple of episodes for me.
Actually, I did forget one other little bit. Bobby and Shelley, they got a tape, and it turns out it was a recording. Leo was apparently not an idiot. He was recording a conversation with him and Ben about burning the mill, and it looks like Bobby now wants to extort Ben. Although he gets his little letter ready, and we don't see the result in this episode, but all I could think during this part was, he's already been arrested, he's not really give you shit.
Yeah,
of course, we're pretty sure he's going to get out.
Yeah.
Which also puts a little foil in Catherine's whole plan. Like, if they find the real killer and he doesn't need an alibi anymore,
he can come after her.
Yeah, because she can't really say anything about the mill getting burned down, because that was kind of her as well. She wanted that to happen.
Yeah.
A lot of dodgy dealings. Makes things a lot murky. Anyway, there you go. That's this episode of Twin Peaks. Let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like and subscribe. We will be back with a second one this weekend, probably Sunday night. So look forward to that. Thank you very much for watching. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. Individual Twitters are on the screen for everyday ramblings. But yeah, that's us, guys. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.